Hello and welcome to another edition of Will's Grill Shack. Today we're firing at the HamrForge and we're doing a 8.8 kilo brisket. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, head over to my Instagram. It should just be here. I post daily content and live cook-alongs, and I'll see you over there. So I've had the HamrForge now for a couple of weeks, and last week you saw me do some ribs on it, and they turned out absolutely amazing. So I thought, how about let's do a massive brisket and see how that turns out. So I had an 8.8 kilo USDA prime brisket sat in the freezer, and I thought, why not, let's give this a go and see how the HamrForge copes with it. It literally just fits on the top grid there, so it is massive. So let's go over, let's have a look at the brisket and let's see what process we're going to do for the trimming and what we're going to season it with. Okay, here is our 8.8 kilo USDA prime brisket from Hickson's. I'll put the link in the description. Go check them out. They do some seriously nice big cuts of meat, and this is proper. I mean, it's really thick. It's probably going to need quite a lot of trimming, so let's get it out of the pack and let's get trimming. Okay, and that's it, all trimmed, nice and dynamic. Left a good lot of fat in there. I mean, look at the marbling on here, it's really good. And then the fat cap side, again, a nice layer of fat on that, just for protection really. So let's season. So today I'm using my favourite Texas AF from Good Rub, and we're just going to season the brisket with this and then let it sit for a good hour or so. And there you go, that is all seasoned up. Now let's go fire at the HamrForge. That thing is an absolute whopper. As I always say, make sure you put that brisket or ribs or whatever it is that you're cooking that's beef back into the fridge and really let it cool down, so that you shock it when you put it onto the barbecue, and then you get a really nice smoke ring. So let's fire up the HamrForge. As you can see here, we've got half a chimney starter full of globotic charcoal. I'll put a link for that in the description if you want to get yourself some. We're going to let that get nice and hot, and then what we're going to do is put it into the bottom of the HamrForge, as you can see here. And then we're going to let that establish and bring it up to temperature. We're also got some wood underneath that's heating up nicely, ready to put on, so it will catch nice and easy. One thing I found from doing the ribs last week is that the bits of wood that I was using were too big, and it filled up the firebox way too easily. So I've actually split those in half again, and we've got quite small little chunks, which are going to be perfect for this kind of cook. Today we're using my new toy, which is a Thermapen smoke. You can see it in here. Really good little bit of kit. It's got a wireless receiver, so it means that I can go in the house and I still know what temperature the brisket is and what temperature the pit is. So really handy little tool. Again, I'll put the link in the description if you want to go over there and check that out. So to get the temperature right up to where you need to be, all the vents need to be open. So make sure all the vents are open and then bring it up to temperature with just the charcoal in the firebox. Okay, so we're going to add some wood in now, and then we're going to get ready to put that brisket on once that wood starts burning a little bit cleaner. Okay, it's now burning clean. We're sat in at 125 degrees, which is absolutely perfect for this. I like to run a little bit hotter. I just find it's a lot easier. So let's whack that brisket on. As you can see, it takes up pretty much the whole of the top shelf. You're not getting anything else on here, that's for sure. I've also added a couple of water pans. In here we've just got water. I think in this kind of grill, these water pans are absolutely essential. We set up the Thermapen smoke, as you can see, and we're just going to let that now smoke away for a couple of hours before we do anything. And I'm probably going to be adding wood every sort of 20 minutes or so. I think that's the max I'm going to get out of the splits that I've got. Okay, we're now 2 hours on, and we're going to start spritzing this. It's looking good. It's actually cooking really quick, and we're reading just over 40 degrees internal temperature. So this is seriously cooking quick, which is unusual, but I think these grates are really retaining the heat, which is causing it to cook a lot quicker. Okay, so 3 hours in, let's start spritzing. So we've got a 50-50 mix of apple vinegar, cider and water, and we're going to spritz this sort of every 20-30 minutes because we really want the nice bark to form. Also, I noticed at the end here of the brisket, you can see it's just starting to get slightly sort of blackened from the grill. I think that's obviously where the massive hot spot is, so we're going to really have to make sure we lubricate that end of the brisket. So 4 hours in, bark is starting to form, not perfect to how I would want it, but it is starting to form, which is good. I thought it would be a lot darker by now, like the ribs, but it's not. So we're going to keep spritzing and then pop back in an hour, and I think we're actually going to be nearly wrapping because it's reading just over 60 degrees now. Okay, 5 hours in, and this is ready to wrap. The bark has slightly formed, I say not to what I would want, so let's get it onto the bench, as you can see here, and we're just going to wrap it. The trick to this is to wrap it nice and tight. I actually schoolboyed it here and didn't have enough paper, so I had to quickly get another bit of paper, and I had an Instagram live to do at the same time, so it was a pretty mad 10 minutes, so this bit of footage isn't the best, but as you can see, we've wrapped it, and we're going to get it back onto the HamrForge just for an hour while I do this Instagram live, and then we're going to fire up the Broil King pellet grill, as you can see, and we're going to get that up to about 130 degrees, and then we're going to pop that in there. The reason I'm putting it into the Broil King pellet grill is because it's not going to take on any more flavour from the HamrForge because it's wrapped in the butcher's paper. So to make my life easier and the fact that I don't have to keep tending the fire, I'm going to leave it into the Broil King pellet grill until it's ready to come off. So like every time I do a brisket, it seems to go wrong and it takes a lot quicker or longer than what I'm expecting. So this was cooking really fast, and now it's not. I started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's now 11 o'clock at night, and we are only just at 74 degrees. So we're in a massive stall here that I've really never experienced before. I mean, we've been stuck on this temperature for a good couple of hours now and it's just not moved. It is -1 and it is bloody cold out here. Okay, so 2 o'clock in the morning and it is still climbing. We're reading 88 degrees, so it is getting there, but I still think we're going to be another couple of hours away from putting it into the Yeti. Okay, so it's now 93 degrees internal temperature, so not at the 95, but it's actually probing really well. I would have loved to have shown you how it was probing, but unfortunately the Broil King is outside of the shack and there's no light, and it's just gone 3 o'clock in the morning, so not ideal. So it is probing really good, so we're going to get it off and I'm going to show you how I'm going to wrap it, because I'm going to do a 6-hour rest just so I can get some sleep. So we've got it onto the bench, and what we're going to do is wrap it in cling film to start with. And I know you might think this is weird, but it's a tip that I got off somebody else that I know, and it works really well. The idea of this is to wrap it in cling film and it retains all the heat in that cling film. We're also going to wrap it into some silver foil, as you can see, and that's going to retain the heat even more. Then we're going to wrap it in a towel as well, and it's going to stay nice and toasty in that Yeti cool box. So it's about 3:15 in the morning and this is now wrapped. I'm going to bed. I'll see you in the morning. We're going to slice this baby up and we're going to see how it is. Don't forget guys, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Good morning and welcome back. So the Yeti has held temperature amazing through the night. I think I probably could have got away with a 12-hour rest, to be honest with you. So we've got it out, it's on the bench. I'm going to take you over there now. We're going to have a look at it. I think you're going to be really loving it. The bark is insane. Really happy with how the bark is and really happy with how it's looking. So let's go over to the bench and take a look. So let's go straight down the middle. Might have to just tilt this slightly. Oh, just like butter that is. Just like butter. Look at that. That is beautiful. Nice little smoke ring on it. Fat's rendered lovely. Okay, so that looked absolutely amazing, but looks doesn't mean that it's going to taste good. So we have a bit here. Let's just do the little pull test. Yeah, it just literally falls apart. Really good. Now let's try it. Just one sec. So I just need to go in for one more just to double check. I'm lost for words. That is unbelievable. Like, the smokiness of it is absolutely bang on. The texture is bang on. The fat is rendered down absolutely perfectly. I've never tasted brisket that good before. I mean, the flavors running through that are just absolutely insane. I'm just absolutely insane. I'm lost for words on how good that brisket is. Incredible, absolutely incredible. And I mean, can we just take a look at that? Look at it. Amazing. I've never seen anything that, you know, like how the fat has just rendered down here. Absolutely incredible. So let's just recap on what we did today. We fired up the Old Ironside. We had an 8.8 kilo USDA prime brisket from Tom Hickson's of Smithfield, and it was absolutely amazing. The marbling on it was really good. We trimmed it. We then seasoned it with Texas AF from Omar over at Good Rub. My favourite go-to Texas style seasoning. It is actually the perfect consistency. We then fired up the beast that is the Old Ironside HamrForge, and we got a fire going and we set the pit temperature to about 125 degrees is what we were aiming for. We monitored it using my new Thermaworks smoke, which was really handy because I could sit inside and monitor the temperature on the little receiver that you've got. We then put the brisket on and we smoked it for just over 5 hours. Didn't actually have any temp fluctuations at all on the Old Ironside. Was really happy with how that performed today. No issues with it at all. After a couple of hours, we sprayed with some apple vinegar cider, 50-50 mixed with water. I say we did it for about 5 hours in total, so it wasn't that long that it was on there, but it was cooking really, really fast. I think the temperature that the grates hold in the Old Ironside has a lot to do with how fast that stuff cooks in there. We obviously had the beef short ribs that cook really quick as well. We then double wrapped it in butcher's paper, as you saw. We then fired up the Broad King pellet grill and we finished it off on the pellet grill because I didn't really fancy tending to the fire all night, and we ran it on the Broad King pellet grill till we hit an internal temperature of 93, 94 degrees, and it was probing really well. And normally I'd say go to 95, but where we were probing so well, I took it off. We rested it in the Yeti. You saw we wrapped it in cling film. Then we wrapped it in tin foil, and then we wrapped it in towels. That was because it was a long rest, 6 hours total rest time, so a long time, but it was 3 o'clock in the morning when I pulled it off. We then got it on the bench, sliced it up, and oh my God, was it a good brisket. I've never had anything like that before. I mean, I had some good ones that have come off on the Broad King pellet grill, but this was next level. I mean, unbelievable. So if you've enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button, leave me a like, leave me a comment. What do you think of the brisket that we've done? And join me next time for another edition of Will's Grill Shack. Thank you for watching.